Hello friends, Swaraj here, and I am coming at a very important time because there is going to be a big event, that is the Indian Union budget that is going to happen on Feb 1st. And why am I saying it is one of the biggest event? Because the effects of the event and the factors of event are already impacting the market. As you might have seen, since January 1st, markets have been rising in one direction and they have crossed even 18,000 and they are almost near the all-time high. So why is this happening? And why is that, even before the event, market is reacting in a very positive way. So what happened was, around the start of January, there came a news that Indian government or the Indian budget that was declared last year, the fiscal deficit target that was declared last year, until November end, the fiscal deficit target was only achieved at 45%. So what is the significance of this? What happened was, as soon as this news came, the market started rallying. The market started going up in one direction. So why is fiscal deficit so important? So before I explain fiscal deficit, let me explain what is Indian budget, or what is budget, what is Union budget in short. I'll explain you in short. Okay. So what is budget? So on the day of the budget, what government does or what finance minister does. So today's finance minister is Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji. So what she will do, she'll come and she will declare what is the income of the government and what is the expenditure of the government. So the income of the government is the taxes, various kind of taxes, direct taxes, indirect taxes, income taxes, import and export duties, all this will be declared. In addition to that, there are other incomes like dividend from PSUs. Okay, so all these will be declared. So this is the income. This is how much we got direct tax. This is how we got indirect tax. This was how much we got income tax. This was how much we got GST, and this was from so and so amount was from petrol and diesel, the tax that is going on. And then they will declare expenditures. So what are the expenditures? Last year they had put all the expenditures. How much of those expenditures were done? So what are the expenditures of the government? So main expenditures of government are social schemes like Manrega. So how much money was spent on Manrega? How much money was spent on construction of roads, bridges and other infrastructure? How much money was spent on the government schools? How much money was spent on defense? And then they will start with projection of next year. That is, they will make a projection, so and so amount they are expecting they will get so and so amount. So they will create a budget. So budget is what? They will create a budget that will get so and so income and will create so and so expenditures. So what are the expenditures? Expenditures like probably they will increase Manrega, probably they will increase the expenditure on infrastructure, probably they will increase the infrastructure, they will make some changes on infrastructure of railways, roads, bridges. Then also they will declare the expenditure on defense. So all these, in Hindi they say lekha jokha. So all these things they will declare in the budget. So what is fiscal deficit? So until now you might have understood budget is nothing but declaration of income and expenditure. So like in your home, you get a salary. In salary, what happens? You spend some money. After so what you do is, that is your expenditure on rent, food, child education, etc. So out of that salary you deduct all that expenditure and the balance is savings. So similarly, what the government does is they will declare so and so is our expenditure and this is the balance. So what is fiscal deficit? So there are two terms, fiscal deficit and fiscal surplus. So what is fiscal? Let's understand What is fiscal? In this fiscal meaning of fiscal is financial. So financial deficit and financial surplus. So similarly for the government, there is income, there is expenditure, then there is this balance. If this balance is positive, it's called surplus. That means if government is saving money, it is called fiscal surplus. But if the government is losing money, it's called fiscal deficit. Now why will the government want to lose money? Because it wants to spend more and more in expectation that the tax or the tax income or whatever the income will rise. What the government wants to do is spend more so that the economy will increase. So for that reason, the government keeps on spending more, and that is why they keep a fiscal deficit target. They keep a target that this much percentage of the budget we will create a deficit. So they are actually spending more than the income. Why will the government do that? Because they want to stimulate the economy. In times like 2020, in times of the recession, government actually spends more than its income. How will they cover this deficit then? What they do is they take loans. They take loans by issuing bonds of Indian government, and that is how they try to cover the fiscal deficit. I hope you understood until then, but if you didn't understand, put a comment and then probably I will respond to your comment and we can discuss it openly. So until now, please try to understand. If the government is saving money, that means the balance is positive, it's called fiscal surplus. If the government is spending more than the income, it's called fiscal deficit. That means the balance is negative. And this negative balance, what it does, it issues bonds of 10 years, 20 years, and it tries to take money from the market. That means the government is borrowing. What happened this year and 2021 was that the fiscal deficit, that means the negative balance, the target was, for example, if the target was 100 rupees, that means the balance will be minus 100. The government was able to do only minus 45. That means the government was able to, how is the negative balance less? Because either taxation will be more or expenditure will be less. So expenditure was more anyways, because the second wave was so bad that the government had to spend more money in hospitals for oxygen, medicines, acquiring more medicines and everything. It had to sometimes send medicines through helicopters and planes and oxygen tanks and all those things. So expenditure was anyways more, but the taxes also they put more. So first tax they got maximum was from petrol and diesel, and the second tax was naturally growth in the business. That was GST collections, they increased automatically, and the collections have been highest until now since the inception of GST, and in this COVID scenario also. So that is how government was able to reduce this. I am just putting 100 rupees number because of ease of understanding. Instead of minus 100 balance, they were only able to achieve by November minus 45. So what has happened is the market is expecting the government has more room to spend more. So instead of raising 100 rupees from the market, they had to just raise 45 rupees. That means they had to just borrow 45 rupees. But what is the expectation is that in the budget, since they are saving money, they will introduce some more expenditure, so the economy will be boosted even more. So that is the expectation from the market, and that is the reason why market has been rising since this news came. And market is going to keep on rising until the budget day. I don't know what is going to be the budget, but I can tell you that because of this news, market is not going to come down, and anyone who is expecting that market will come down, it is too high, is actually dreaming. Market will only come down if the budget is poor. If the government doesn't take the advantage of these savings and do more expenditure to stimulate the economy, if they don't do that, only then the market will come down. But since there is an election that is coming in March, UP election, Punjab election, and 3 more states, Goa and others, Uttarakhand. So all these states combined, elections are coming 5 states. So government will definitely introduce some way or the other to keep the voters happy. The expectation is that the income tax slab might be increased. So that is the first expectation. I'll be making more videos on the budget expectation. So this video was only to explain fiscal deficit. I hope you all understood what is fiscal deficit. And fiscal deficit is the number which is very important for the stock markets. If it is this year, next year, or the next 100 years, until the time India remains as a country. So if you are a person who is participating in stock markets, if you are a trader in stock market, you should look at fiscal deficit number whenever there is a budget news. And this fiscal deficit number on budget day is automatically displayed on all the news screens. So, if fiscal deficit, if the government increases the target beyond the last year target, it's a bad news. But if the government keeps the same target and increases the expenditure, it is a very good news, and probably market will increase beyond the budget also. After the Feb first budget declaration also, market will keep on rising. So guys, keep this thing in mind, that fiscal deficit, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. The market doesn't look at market looks at fiscal deficit. Second, the market looks at taxation. Third, the market looks at how much money the government is raised. So in fiscal deficit, anyways, that is covered. So if all these things are in line with expectation, then the market will outperform. But if something else happens, if the fiscal deficit increases unrealistically, which this budget it's not going to happen, expectation is that government will spend more, it will introduce some social schemes, or it will reduce some taxes, or it will change some GST laws, then it's a very, very positive news. So I hope you guys understood this, and I'll create more videos on the budget event. Still we have 12 to 13 days until the budget, and I'll cover more topics related to the budget. Thank you very much. Subscribe to the channel and comment and talk to us if you want to know more. Thank you very much.